be intact. What has happened, there'll be no one that comes from CAAP who will still be there in office to be able to hide evidence. I call therefore for the secretary to make sure that our DG takes a leave of absence up and until there will be a definitive report of the investigation by technical people, by everyone in the know. We congressmen are not technical, but we can see what is happening now.
In my initial observation, I am not concluding, pero kung over voltage, Mr. Chair, dapat mayroon kayong ibang equipments na nasunog. Or yung transformer ng Meralco or generator na nag-supply. Hindi lang po yung equipment. Kasi pare-pareho lang po yung pinanggalingan ng supply. We are talking of a single circuit na nagsusupply ng dalawang klaseng voltahe dahil 3-piece po yung linya.
Mga congressman nagalit na nga sa mga palusot ng mga nangyaring aberya sa Naia Airport at paiba-iba ang dahilan nito. CAAP Director General Manuel Antonio Tamayo, gustong ipa-leave of absence ni Cagayan de Oro City Rep. Rufus Rodriguez at Congressman Sergio Bagooc Gigil sa mga palusot ng opisyal at mga tauhan sa may Naia at CAA, dami palusot na di umubra. Tunghayan pa natin ang ibang nangyari mga kasolid.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon sa resource persons natin. May I direct the question, Mr. Chair, to Captain Tamayo? How many personnel do we have as far as technical people manning the CNS? Plantilla po. Or actual working?
After the chair, may I call on Arnold because he's the head of the ANS.
Yes.
Your Honor, the plantilla is more than 800. I cannot.
Manning the technical, the equipment.
Okay. There are two. Your Honor, there are two unit manning the air traffic management center. One group is the airfield power technician, and the other group is the communication navigation surveillance system officer. There are 18 ELPT for the ETMC and 36 CNSSO for the ETMC.
Okay. Mr. Chair, sorry we are running out of time. Mr. Chair, on January 1, ilan ho ang nag-duty?
The duty personnel in the power plant, 5 po sila, sir, at Your Honor.
That's the normal, Mr. Chair? 5?
Yes po. Yung
Walang
po,
absent?
wala po.
Considering na 31 is New Year's Eve, lahat ng tao are,
On Your Honor, they are
celebrating the
obliged,
New Year?
on Your Honor, they are obliged to report for duty po. Kasi talagang critical po yung system, so kailangan po nandun sila, hindi sila.
Okay. So anyway, my understanding, I think there are only two sides which I'm considering. One is the failure of the equipment, and two is the failure of our personnel in maintaining the equipment. So later on, when the chair will have when the committee will have its proper investigations, this is not yet an investigation, Mr. Chair, we will know. Kasi sa tingin ko, dalawa lang failure ng equipment and failure ng ating tao to maintain the equipment. So I hope we will be clarified later on regarding the theory that I am getting at. Another aspect, Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed, I'll address this to GM Cong. How often do you visit terminal, the terminal 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4?
On a weekly basis, sir, around per terminal, mga once a week po.
Once a week.
Yeah.
And then when you try to visit the terminal, you go directly to your office or sub-office, Mr. Chair, or you roam around the building?
Basically, sir, we go around the whole building on the passenger processing areas po. We have the pre-departure, papunta ho hanggang sa arrival, and even the baggage handling system, sir.
Okay. So my question is on the third floor, if you were able to observe that, that's the check-in area as far as Terminal 3 is concerned. I usually take the Cebu Pacific because that's the only, the most convenient airlines for me when I go home to my district. On the third floor, when you take the elevator or the escalator prior to the check-in, di ba may waiting area tayo dito sa left side? Anong observation mo nakita doon?
That's one area, sir, that we are looking at right now because it's being used right now as a passenger holding area.
Okay.
Normally po, sa ibang international airports, a lot of the passengers, when they go inside the terminal, they're already checked in. And then they go to the process po, and then dun po sila nag-aantay sa pre-departure terminal po.
All right. May I go directly to the point, Mr. Chair? Di ba OFW ang nakahiga doon? Because usually they arrive at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, and then they have the connecting flight going to the different provinces. Nakita mo, nakahiga yun, no? They are supposed to be our modern heroes, and yet we tend to neglect the safety and the welfare of our OFW. If I may, Mr. Chair, I just request that they should be given also the proper accommodation, let's say in the fourth floor where we can put up beds or double-decker beds and probably a shower room while waiting for their flight. Would that be possible, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, we can look into that, sir. I will discuss that with the Overseas Workers Welfare Administrator, si Arnel Ignacio po, tsaka si Yusek Kakdak, who was with us from the Department of Migrant Workers. Kasi during po sa nangyari, lahat po kami nag-ikot po doon. And they were there also to assist the OFWs po. Yes, we will get back to you, sir, on that one.
Kasi nakakahiya, Mr. Chair, even near the restroom, may nakahiga mga OFW natin and waiting for their flights. Some are will be having their flight in the afternoon. Then they arrive at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening. So nowhere to go because, you know, their money is just limited. It's good for those that are having a good job, but for the domestic helpers and so on and so forth, can we please do something about it? Probably in the fourth floor, we can put up one cubicle there with complete amenities. Shower lang, pwede na, no? And ang food, bahala na sila. Basta at least our OFW will realize na mahal pala sila ng gobyerno natin. Would that be possible, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, if I may, that's actually one of the learnings that we're looking at, sir, going forward, because we found out that we still have about 50 mga tents po na during the COVID na available. So we're looking into using these tents para po dun sa mga overseas Filipino workers po natin. Meron po tayong lugar doon sa multipurpose hall sa katabi ho ng mga concessionaires.
Yeah.
Pwede ho nating ilagay po doon.
Yeah.
And then I was informed by our team when we were actually discussing this na meron po tayong shower facility sa baba po na pwedeng gamitin, especially for those OFWs po na gustong yung pagdating ho kasi minsan ng mga flights nila gabi na tapos the following day pa ho yung connecting flights nila. So yun po ang titingnan natin, sir.
Sorry. GM, I would really appreciate that if there would be changes that you're going to to institute. Kawawa naman yung mga OFW natin. So anyway, I want yun lang request ko sana na pagbigyan natin ng pansin yung mga the plight of our OFW.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Saan yung engineer? Stand by there, ha? Yung power na galing sa Meralco, bago pumasok yan sa uninterruptible power supply na dalawa, yan ay AC. Para lang maliwanag sa lahat. Tama ba hindi?
Tama po, Your
Pasok
Honor.
yan sa uninterruptible power supply, baterya yan, di ba?
Magko-convert po from alternating current to direct current.
Direct current.
Apa.
Dapat explain mo yan na the uninterruptible power supply in the failure of the generators and in the failure of Meralco, if the uninterruptible power supply will not go into standby mode, that will take care of all the power requirements of your system. Tama ba hindi?
Tama po yan, sir.
Now, explain ko sa aking colleague na nagtatanong bakit sinasabi na yung ABR ninyo ang may diferensya kaya na-detect ng UPS is uninterruptible power supply. Nung na-detect ng UPS yung breaker, yung kuryente na dumaan doon sa breaker, na-detect niya, it went into standby mode. Dalawa yan eh. Yung dalawa, natulog? Hindi naman siguro. Please answer my colleague. How from AC power, it went into DC power, and the DC power is inverted again if it is required by your system to use AC power, then it will invert itself into AC before it is being used in the other equipments. Tama ba hindi?
Tama po yan,
Please
Your
explain
Honor.
that to my colleague.
So, Mr. Chair, my question is, based on your investigation, inspection, ano po ang dahilan bakit nag-high voltage? Hindi na ano ng AVR. Ang nangyari po kasi, Mr. Chair, parang naging useless yung AVR eh. Kaya nga po may AVR eh. Nagre-regulate siya ng voltage eh. So kung regulated yung voltage, hindi mag-breakdown yung circuit breaker, hindi nag-overload. Am I correct, Mr. Chair? Yun po ang tanong ko, Mr. Chair. Yung sinasabi po na nag-overload yung voltage, kaya nagka-problema sa circuit breaker, ano po ang dahilan? Eh meron tayong binabanggit na automatic voltage regulator. And yung pong automatic voltage regulator is within the load side, hindi sa service load. Ibig sabihin po, kung ang pumapasok na voltage ay ganito lamang, how come na doon sa internal area, tumaas, may regulator dito? Yun po ang gusto nating malaman, Mr. Chair. Ano po ang dahilan at nag-overload doon sa voltage?
On your honor, may request po na i-display yung slide sa circuit breaker. Okay, ito po yun. Itong circuit breaker na to po ay nasa loob po ng equipment room. Bago po kami nag-on ng mga equipment, mini-measure po namin yung mga voltahe doon sa input po ng circuit breaker. Ito po ay 4 line. Sinasabi natin 4 line. So, yung pong kulay pula at sa kulay dilaw, pag sinukat po natin ang voltahe doon, 380 po yun. Pag sinukat po natin yung voltahe between red and black, 380 volts din po. Tapos between yellow and black, 380 rin po. Tapos between black and white, ang white po yung tinatawag nating neutral, is 220 volts. Yun po yung mga voltahe na kailangan po ng mga equipment po natin. Nung sinukat po namin, yung mga voltahe doon sa taas, yung input, tama po yung mga voltahe doon. Kaya lang po dito ngayon, dito sa paglabas, yung isang pase yung line 3 at saka neutral, ang nasukat po namin is 380 volts. Ngayon pa, supposed to be yun 220. So ang ginawa po namin, pinower off po namin. Tapos nag-measure po kami yung tinatawag na continuity test. Yung continuity test po yon para malalaman natin yung connection ng input at saka output. So yung line 3, sinukat namin input, yung line 1, yung red, sinukat namin yung input-output continuity test, mayroon pong connection. Yung line 2, yung yellow, mayroon din pong connection. Tapos yung line 3, yung itim, wala pong connection doon sa output. Tapos yung neutral, wala rin pong connection.
So, okay, Mr. Chair, kung ganun po ang naging problema, based doon sa inyo explanation, based na result na inyo investigation and inspection. Now, ano po yung ating immediate action na prevent na mangyari uli ang problema na yan? May binago po ba tayo sa system? Or binaypass lang po natin?
Nung pong araw na yan, kasi kailangan po namin i-restore yung voltahe, binaypass po namin, Your Honor. Pero ngayon po, napalitan po namin yung circuit breaker na po.
Okay po, Mr. Chair. Kung nagpalit po sila ng breaker, based on your explanation, so pwedeng maulit po yung insidente. Kasi nakita nyo na po yung problema eh. Ano po yung preventive measures na hindi maulit yan? Kasi parang Mr. Chair, ito yung breaker, nagka-problema, bumili ka lang, pinalitan mo. So meaning, anytime pwedeng ma-experience ulit yun. Ano po yung measures na ma-ensure natin na hindi na maulit itong problemang na-experience natin?
Your Honor, sa ngayon po ay iniimbestigahan pa kung anong naging yung circuit breaker po ay kailangan ma-forensic po ma-check kung tama po yung mga yung kasi po sirado po to, so hindi po namin alam kung ano yung mga how it was constructed inside, so kailangan po ang investigasyon pa po, forensic, para po malaman kung anong dahilan talaga bakit naging ganun po yung voltahe. So sa ngayon po initially po wala yung measure po namin is palitan muna. Then pagkatapos po ng investigasyon, doon po kami siguro makakapagkuhan na.
So, Mr. Chair, ibig sabihin po, as of now, hindi pa nila ma-determine kung pwedeng mangyari o maulit-ulit. Kasi po, pinalitan lamang ng circuit breaker. Hindi pa possible na mag-install tayo ng AVR before the circuit breaker. Is it possible or not?
Yes, Honor, we welcome yung i-consider po namin yan, sir, Your Honor, pagka pero sa ngayon po nakafocus po kami yung pag-determine talaga ng cost ng problema, yung pagkasira ng use.
Thank you very much, our good chair, Chairman Romy. I would like to first greet Secretary Bautista. A pleasant good afternoon. And of course, to also the MIA General Manager, Cesar Cong. Mr. Chairman, in the initial report of the CAP, which is in charge of the ATS, they said that the problem was the UPS, uninterrupted power supply. Now, in this hearing, there's a new theory, Mr. Chairman, that it is now the circuit breaker. I have been hearing the proceedings entirely since this morning. So in legal parlance, there is a change of the legal theory of the case. From UPS, it has become now the circuit breaker. Therefore, there is confusion that we in our hearing now is encountering. And there are supposed to be some investigations to be done and examinations on the circuit breaker and the rest. I believe, Mr. Chairman, that for us to get into the bottom of things, may I know who are now going to investigate this, because these are technical. The circuit breaker, I have heard that the UPS is okay. Who will be the investigating body for this? The first question to our Director General Ski Tamayo.
To the chair. Yes, as mentioned earlier, there are two teams now that are doing the investigation. One is internal in CAAP. They are in charge of this, performing the investigation. And there is one that is external, which was created by the secretary, involving external agencies as well as people involved within CAAP. And a member of this is the ICT. NSA. And NICA is also involved.
Cyber Council.
And the Cyber Council is also involved in the investigation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, since the pinpointed agency who is responsible for the ATS, we're not saying that they had incompetence or they had gross negligence. But is it, I'd like to ask now Ski Tamayo and Secretary Bautista, don't you think DG Tamayo should take a leave of absence together with the officials of CAAP to afford the investigating body with independence, and there will be, in other words, there will be no stones unturned. We cannot have the responsible official stay there while there is an investigation. We don't want a whitewash. We want a real investigation where we set aside temporarily those who were managing the ATS and this air traffic system. Well, don't you agree, Secretary? This is my question to Secretary Bautista. In all of these hearings, for the sake of transparency, for the sake of non-interference by incumbent officials, to get an independent probe by the committees that will form by Secretary Bautista, don't you think, Secretary Bautista, that Ski Tamayo should take a leave of absence and the other deputy generals? Mr. Chairman, this is a situation, I have been hearing all of this, and this is a situation where those responsible could not be there in office. They should not be, they should be quite at the same time, just have a leave of absence. I'm not calling for the resignation of our Director General, but in fact, honor would show there's anything left with him is to resign. But I'm not going to call that. My goodness, Mr. Chairman, we sacrificed the 65 million Filipinos and foreigners on that day, 700 flights, and nobody takes responsibility. Secretary, my primo, you know, this is the body directly in charge of that. And then we're going around, UPS, circuit breaker, upsurge of the electric supply. We are therefore saying, let us have an independent body, but meantime, so that the records will be intact. What has happened, there'll be no one that comes from CAAP who will still be there in office to be able to hide evidence. I call therefore for the secretary to make sure that our DG takes a leave of absence up and until there will be a definitive report of the investigation by technical people, by everyone in the know. We congressmen are not technical, but we can see what is happening now. Different theory of the case. UPS, now we have the circuit breaker. Probably in a week's time, another pointed reason. So may I hear from our primo, Jimmy Bautista.
Through the chair, Thank you, Congressman Rodriguez. Right now, we are conducting, CAAP is conducting fact finding, no? And when we have all these documents, the investigating body will continue the process, no? And we will consider asking those people involved to take a leave of absence. No?
Thank you very much, Secretary. That will be the best thing to do. We don't have, we cannot have people still be in their position when there's an investigation. In law, we call it, we have to preserve evidence. Everything should be preserved, and nobody who is in that agency, which is the focus of the investigation, should be there to allow an independent probe of this particular fiasco on January 1. So that is, thank you for considering it, Mr. Secretary, because that will be what the Filipino nation would want, that all those who would, I'm not saying that they are, who are possible violators of gross negligence, and incompetence should not be present in those investigations. My second point, Mr. Chairman, thank the Secretary for that. And I hope Iski Tamayo will hand his leave of absence only. Because if it will come up that really it is, I heard about this guy who said force majeure. It cannot be force majeure. This is not an act of God. This is, to me, initially after hearing from January 1 all the explanations and this hearing, this is, Mr. Chairman, an act of men of incompetence and men of gross negligence. Until proven, I would like to just go on that and be following the investigation by the good secretary and just expressing my thoughts after considering everything. But we will therefore look and be able to be ready to have this investigation. Next question to DG Tamayo. Now it came out. We never heard this. 13 billion, can we confirm from SK Tamayo? 13 billion was spent on January 5 when there were no more issues on the UPS. It is not at fault. It is okay. And then we spend, I think I heard, two UPS, 13 billion emergency purchase. You know, Mr. Chairman, when you talk about emergency purchases, that is where the problem lies. Because, we heard also in the previous administration during the COVID-19 emergency purchases. So therefore, may I therefore find out, can you give us the details, DG Tamayo? How much is the amount? What is the content of the agreement? Who signed the agreement and confirmed it is 13 billion? Who signed? Who are the parties to this particular purchase, which we never knew?
Your Honor, for clarification, your question is about the 13 billion purchase? 13 million.
Yes.
Or 30 million purchase?
Yes. We know the details of that. Who signed this agreement? We already know that emergency purchase. Who signed this agreement from the CAAP?
Through the chair, sir. As far as the emergency purchase of the UPS amounting to 13 million, this underwent the proper process, proper bidding. And so after all the processes were done, I take responsibility. I was the one who signed it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, it is not 13 million, it is billion, correct? Can you correct me, Mr. Tamayo, 13 million or 13 billion?
13 million, sir, for the UPS.
13 million.
Yes, sir.
Million, okay. Who signed for this agreement? Despite the fact that there's already a determination that there is no need to replace this because they're in order. Who signed the agreement? Can you know publicly?
Yes, sir. If I may correct my original statement, there was an approval as far as our back is concerned because this underwent public bidding.
Mr. Tamayo, just answer my question. In Congress, we want direct answers. Who signed this? So this is not 13 billion, only 13 million. Who signed this particular contract? Who?
The Kaap boxer, wala pa namang contract. Bids and awards.
But you have already made a purchase, correct? How can you have a purchase when there is no award? It's getting muddier and muddier, Mr. Chairman. We do not get any more. Let us have the correct account on this.
Kong
Please,
Rufus,
we know.
with your indulgence, Kong Rufus, may I?
Yes, please, my chairman, please proceed.
Yung 13 billion would be the proposal to purchase a new CNS ATM system. It would, in one of the reports, 13 billion would be the approximated amount. Yung 13 million, yun po yung pinambili ng UPS. So, which was conducted through an emergency purchase. So, yun po ang difference ng dalawa, Kong Rufus.
13 billion has not been expended. The 13B.
13 billion, wala pa. They're still conducting a feasibility study on the matter.
Okay, can we get that directly from the Director General? Please give us the difference between the 13 billion and the 13 million as already, so that we can clearly distinguish the two, and which of them had already been spended and which of them are under process. From the Kaap.
Through the chair, sir. As far as the 13 billion is concerned, this is a ballpark figure to be able to set up a standalone system or a backup system for the existing CNS ATM for a new CNS system. Now, this is still subject to a feasibility study before we proceed. So the amount can go lower or depending upon the type or specifications that we will be procuring. It is just a proposal on the part of the UPS. This was, we had to bid it out through our bids and awards committee, and then the original manufacturer, equipment manufacturer, was the one who won the bid. So meron na ho siyang order of award, but nothing has been delivered yet. So nothing has been signed. It's still in the process, and they're still evaluating, studying on how to install the new UPS.
Yeah, that's clear enough, Mr. Chairman. So how much is the this 30? Is that 13 million that they won? The Thales for this 13M.
It is not Thales, sir, because the UPS. Yes, it's a different brand name. It is Informed, and the manufacturer is Korean. But the correction, sir, Turkish pala. Turkish is the supplier. It's a Turkish manufactured UPS, and the reason tumaas yung cost nito is because we wanted it to have a 5-year warranty also. Pero in fairness to our bids and awards committee, they were able to negotiate the price to what it is now. But it's not.
Thank you, DG Tamayo. But how about the original supplier, Sumitomo Thales? They did not bid. They would be the ones who would be in the know, having the one who have the original ones. They bidded or not?
The Sumitomo is an integrator, sir, sa kanila yung contract nitong CNS ATM. So what happens is that they get from different equipment manufacturers, and this is one na hindi naman ho sa kanila, but they were the ones who selected based on the original contract before.
So, Mr. Chairman, there was no bid from others except this Turkish company. Is that correct?
There were other bidders, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, we'd like to request that the bid documents be presented to the committee so that we will look at this, who were the other bidders that will be. So therefore, this has not yet been signed. Can you confirm that, DG Tamayo? It has not been signed.
I confirm that, sir.
And do you agree that based on what was asked before and your answers, that there is no problem with the UPS, that there should be a regular, not emergency purchase, and that you should cancel this particular and go to the regular process so that we will all be assured that the procurement law will be followed, not being an emergency purchase? Because once you sign this, then the people will be responsible. And it is now in the open that you have seen no problem with the UPS as of January 5. And therefore, there is no need to go emergency on something to have some redundant equipment to make sure that this will not happen again. So would you agree that why don't you just scrap this new contract and be able to get into regular procurement so that we can really be assured that everything is on the level?
Cong Rufus, you have 1 minute.
Yes, I will comply, Mr. Chairman. That will be my last question.
Through the chair, sir,
After-
it's a possible, it's an option for us to do it. And we'll just have it bidded out through the regular process, not emergency.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to thank Secretary Bautista and our MIA head, Cesar Chong, for their presence and their presentation. And we hope really that this will never happen again. It's a big shame. It's a fiasco that has happened, making safety the primary concern of everyone at stake here. And there was really at the time, the safety issue was there hanging on the balance. And so I thank Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You have
Kaninang
the
umaga pa po ako
Your Honor.
nag-aabang. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone, especially to our resource persons. I am a technical person, Mr. Chair, at alam na alam ko po yung mga circuit breaker at UPS. We are maintaining that in our distribution system. I will focus on that kasi ayaw ko magkaroon ng briefing na mayroon tayong hindi pagkakaintindihan doon sa mga technical na sagot. Now, Mr. Chair, I will like to address my question to the technical person of CAAP or what agency he or she belongs.
Engineer, kayo yata ang gustong tanungin ni Congressman Bagooc. Are you ready to answer his queries?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, nakahanda raw siya. Kung seryo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Am I correct na ang pagkakaintindi ko, circuit breaker yung nagiging dahilan doon sa problema natin noong January 1?
Your Honor, may I answer po? Okay. At present po, ang ano po namin, analysis po namin, kung nagtuturo po sa circuit breaker, kasi po nasira po yung circuit breaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ang susunod ko pong katanungan, kaya gawin nating Tagalog to para maintindihan ng ating mga mamamayan, no? Na hindi technical person. As an engineer, ano po ba ang dapat trabaho ng circuit breaker sa isang electrical or electronic system? Ang circuit breaker kasi mostly ginagamit sa electrical system. Ano po yung trabaho niya? ng circuit breaker?
Your Honor, ang trabaho po ng circuit breaker ay dapat po i-break na yung sirkito kung mayroon pong overcurrent para maproteksyonan po yung equipment na nakakonekta po sa kayong.
Mr. Chair, overcurrent lang po ba ang magpapabreak ng circuit breaker? Kasi technically, ang term po na ginagamit diyan sa sabi niyang break ay tripping. Tripping. So, overcurrent lang po ba ang nagpapatrip o nagpapabreak sa circuit breaker?
Pag mayroon pong over voltage, yun po yung magko-correspond ng mataas na kuryente at i-break po yung pang magkukos ngayon ng overcurrent. So over voltage din po, pwedeng i-break din po niya yung sirkito po.
Engineer.
Tama po yung dalawang sagot, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Ang sunod ko na katanungan, yung dalawa lang po ba ang magiging cause para mag-trip o mag-turn off, mag-disconnect yung circuit breaker? Yung dalawa lang po ba? Overcurrent at saka overvoltage?
Your Honor, mayroon kung po yung may problema rin po sa mechanical or doon sa circuit breaker po, pwede rin pong mag-trip yung pong manufacturing po ng circuit breaker po.
Hindi po ba, Mr. Chair, kasama sa dahilan para mag-turn off or mag-trip yung circuit breaker kung mayroong line fault o may problema yung linya na sinusuplayan ng circuit breaker na yon?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Okay, tama. So Mr. Chair, in this case, ang initial finding ninyo dahil hindi pa tapos ang investigation ay nagkaroon ng sobrang voltahe doon sa sirkito na yon na nagsusupply sa ating mga equipment. Tama po ba yung pagkakaintindi ko kanina?
Your Honor, pwede po. Pwede pong ipaliwanag ko po sa Your Honor. Ang ano po namin is that nagkaroon po ng abnormality kaya nag-out po yung UPS or hindi nag-provide po ng voltahe yung UPS. So, nung binuksan po namin yung UPS, unti-unti po namin binubuksan yung mga circuit breaker ng mga equipment, doon po namin nakita na doon po namin napansin na mayroong pong nag-spark. So, ang ginawa po namin, pinatay po namin yung circuit breaker at nag-conduct po ulit kami ng measurement. At po, nung nag-conduct po
Mr. Chair, no, for the interest of time, ako ay hihingi ng pabor sa resource person na ang sagutin niya lang ay yung tinatanong ko kasi pupunta po tayo doon sa UPS. Circuit breaker muna, dalawa lang naman yung issue ko dito, circuit breaker at saka UPS kasi the failure is very technical, kaya technical po tayo mag-concentrate. So, may problema tayo sa circuit breaker, nag-trip siya dahil ang pagkakaintindi ko sa sinabi mo doon sa unang member ng committee na nagtanong, mayroong over voltage. Ngayon, nag-trip yung circuit breaker, diretso na lang ako sa UPS. Ano po yung trabaho ng UPS? Kanina pinag-usapan na natin, Mr. Chair, yung trabaho ng circuit breaker. Pupunta tayo sa UPS. Ano po ang trabaho ng UPS, Mr. Chair?
Honor, ang trabaho po ng UPS ay mag-provide po ng continuous voltage or kuryente sa load. Ang ginagawa po ng UPS, unang-una po ay i-convert niya yung alternating current into direct current. Tapos mag-store po ng direct current sa battery. Pag nawala po yung input ng UPS, mayroon pong output yung UPS na alternating current coming from the batteries using the inverter po.
Mr. Chair, tama po yung sinabi ng resource person. Kaya ang UPS po ay sa pangalan pa lang po niya, malinaw na po kung ano yung trabaho niya. So, nagawa po ba ng UPS yung trabaho niya ngayong may problema ang circuit breaker at wala ng supply papunta sa equipment? Nagawa ba? Nagampanan ba ng UPS yung kanyang trabaho?
Yung pong mag-provide ng kuryente po, hindi po niya nagawa kasi in-inhibit po niya yung sarili niya kasi mayroon po siyang na-sense na abnormality sa load side po.
So, yung
So-
UPS na ngayon ang nag-sense ng abnormality, hindi na yung circuit breaker. Tama po ba yung pagkakaintindi ko sa tanong mo, sa sagot mo, Mr. Chair? Instead na circuit breaker ang mag-sense ng fault, UPS na ngayon sa system ninyo ang nakasit up, UPS ang nagsisense kung may problema yung load.
Yes po, Your Honor. Kasi po, sa halip po mag-trip yung circuit breaker, yung dalawang pole niya ay nag-open.
Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang liwanagin. Ang technical term kasi na open ay nag-trip po yon. As far as circuit breaker is concerned, pag sinabi mong nag-open, nag-disconnect po yon, meaning nag-trip off. So, ano po bang nangyari sa circuit breaker? Hindi nag-trip off?
Yung pong findings po namin, Your Honor, is that yung mayroon po 4-wire po yung circuit breaker, yung line 1 at saka line 2 mayroong continuity. Nung inalis na namin yung kuryente, nag-conduct kami ng continuity test. Pero line 3 at saka yung neutral po, wala pong continuity.
So, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang malinaw yung sagot. Nag-trip po ba? Nag-disconnect po ba yung circuit breaker o hindi, Mr. Chair?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
So, hindi. So, kung hindi po nag-trip o nag-disconnect yung circuit breaker, talagang in my own understanding as a technical person, wala po talagang tatrabahuin yung UPS. Kasi hindi po nag-interrupt. Pag hindi po nag-interrupt or hindi nag-off yung circuit breaker, may supply po doon sa system, sa load. So hindi po talaga magtatrabaho dito yung UPS dahil mayroon pong kuryente na pumapasok dahil hindi po nag-trip yung circuit breaker. So ngayon, pupunta ako doon sa sa over voltage. Itong circuito ba na to na nagsusupply doon sa mga equipment natin, galing lang ba sa isang circuito? Halimbawa, galing sa substation, papunta doon sa service entrance, ang CNS, ATM lang ba talaga ang sinusuplayan nito o mayroon pang ibang circuit na sinusuplayan noong linya na to?
Your Honor. Okay. Pagdating doon po sa galing po sa Meralco, ang sinusuplayan po niyan ay pati po yung mga air conditioning system at saka yung mga critical system. Nung nawala po yung output ng UPS, ang critical system lang po ang nawala. Mayroon pong ilaw po at saka mayroon pong aircon. Kaya doon po kami nag-conclude na yung UPS po kasi wala pong lumalabas pong kuryente sa UPS.
So, sa makatuwid, for the record, Mr. Chair, hindi nag-trip o gumana, hindi nag-off yung circuit breaker. Yes or no, Mr. Chair?
Yung circuit breaker po ay nalaman na
Engineer.
yes, hindi nag-trip po, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you for the categorical answer. Hindi siya nag-trip. Ngayon, may hinala kayo na sasabihin ko lang na hinala, but the way you explain it this morning, parang over voltage ang ang sinasabi ninyo na sumubra ng 380. Tama po ba na sumubra siya, Mr. Chair?
Yun po yung na-measure namin po doon sa output po ng circuit breaker na supposed to be 220.
So, instead of 220, Mr. Chair, nagiging 380 yung voltahe noong kinuna ninyo ng voltahe yung circuit breaker. Tama po ba, Mr. Chair?
Yes po, Your Honor.
So, since mayroon pa pong ibang mga equipments like air conditioning units na sinusuplayan ng circuit na yan, kung mayroong 380 volts na nasa circuit breaker, ano po ba yung kinakailangang supply ng mga air conditioning units na yan? 220 ba o 380?
Mayroon pong 380, Your Honor. Kasi nga po ang mga equipment natin ay gumagamit po ng mga line to line, 380 po 'yon, pero pag gumagamit po line to neutral, 220 po, Your Honor.
Saan po, Mr. Chair, nanggaling yung supply ng 380 at ano pong supply yung galing sa 240 or line to line at saka line to ground? Pagkakaintindi ko po, yung isang circuit niya line to ground, yung isa is line to line na 110 110. So ano po yung supply galing sa Meralco, line to line, Mr. Chair?
Are you capable to answer that question? Do you know?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ay, you answer. Ikaw ang
Okay.
tinatanong niya.
Your Honor, ang supply po, yung voltahe po na lumalabas sa UPS ay mayroon pong 380 at saka 220 kasi 4-wire po yon. So, yung 4-wire na yon, mayroon tayong tinatawag na line to line. Ang voltahe po between those two line are 380. Tapos yung pong line to neutral ay 220. Dito pa naman po sa Meralco, mayroon pong step down transformer doon, tapos ang output ng transformer po ay 380 at saka 220 kasi po 4-wire po yung lumalabas po doon sa transformer na po yon. So yung pong 380 para doon sa equipment na 380 volts ang kailangan, yung 220 naman po yung pang equipment na 220 po ang kailangan, Your Honor. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that very informative answer, Mr. Chair. So, malinaw na po na mayroong dalawang voltage supply yung area na yan. I'm talking of the area, not the equipment itself na pinag-usapan natin. So, may area dyan na yung area na yan, mayroon tayong supply na 240, mayroon tayong sinusupplyan na 380. Tama po ba, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so yung circuit breaker na nagsusupply papunta sa mga equipment na ating pinag-usapan, anong voltahe ang nagsusupply sa kanya at yung circuit breaker na yan ay nakadesign ba sa voltahe na yan? Halimbawa, 380 ba yung circuit breaker na yan?
Yung pong circuit breaker na po yon ay ang pumasok po doon ay 4-wire po. So yung line to line po ay 380 at saka line to neutral is 220. So yung circuit breaker na yon ay masasabi po natin na ang supply na pumasok sa kanya ay 380 at saka 220. Kaso po dito po sa output ng circuit breaker, para supplyan po yung mga equipment natin, line to neutral po ang pinagkunan ng mga linya papunta sa mga equipment kasi single phase na po 'yon. May dagdag ko lang po, ang input po ng circuit breaker ay 3-phase, 4-wire, pero ang equipment po natin ay single phase 220. That is line to neutral.
Okay, so nakuha ko na, Mr. Chair. In my initial observation, I am not concluding, pero kung over voltage, Mr. Chair, dapat mayroon kayong ibang equipments na nasunog. or yung transformer ng Meralco or generator na nag-supply. Hindi lang po yung equipment. Kasi pare-pareho lang po yung pinanggalingan ng supply. We are talking of a single circuit na nagsusupply ng dalawang klaseng voltahe dahil 3-piece po yung linya. So, ang tingin ko dito, Mr. Chair, hindi siya over voltage dahil wala po tayong nasunog na mga other equipments. Somewhere along the way from circuit breaker to UPS, nandoon po yung problema. Wala pong over voltage as far as I'm concerned. So yun lang po, Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the indulgence. I have heard a while ago, Mr. Chair, that when the Honorable Bosita asked the resource person about the Meralco equipments that were damaged, he denied it, no? The records will show when I asked him, it is very clear that he told this honorable committee that there are equipments of Meralco being damaged. That's why I initially conclude that there was really, in my own opinion, a high voltage, no, over voltage that occurred in the circuit that we are talking. But when the Honorable Bosita inquire about it, the resource person denied it. So, Mr. Chair, for the record, again, I would like to reiterate for them to submit their official report and for the committee secretary to kindly review the portion where I interpolated, and the answer is very categorical. There are equipments of Meralco being damaged because I asked him if there are equipments or protection equipments of Meralco being damaged. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for the indulgence.
Do you want to react to the manifestation of the Honorable Bagooc, Engineer?
Yes, Your Honor, may I reply? What I heard, Your Honor, is that the question is that I'm being asked if there are other equipment damaged, but I did not heard about the Meralco. So my answer, Your Honor, is that there are equipment damaged, but I'm not referring to Meralco.
Mr. Chair, can I be recognized again, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will no longer argue with the resource person. That's why I will just like to kindly request the committee secretariat to look into the records during my interpellation, because I'm sure I'm asking the question with regards to the protection. If there are equipments or protection from Meralco that is being damaged, which was answered affirmatively. That's why I conclude that there was really an overvoltage. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tingnan na lang natin doon sa record sa proceedings kanina.
So narinig natin ang mga congressman at mga sangkot sa nangyaring aberya sa Naia. Isa-isa ginisa ng mga congressman ang mga tauhan sa Naia at CAA, buko ang dahilan na paiba-iba ang mga alibay nito sa mga katanungan ng ibang eksperto at congressman na merong alam pagdating sa mga koneksyon at boltahe. Di umubra ang mga tauhan nito sa mga gigil na congressman dahil sa kahihiyan na dulot ng kapalpakan nila sa nangyaring issue sa Naia at naging usapan sa Pilipinas at buong mundo. At dahil dito ay pinaparesign ni Congressman Rufus ang mga matataas na opisyal na merong koneksyon sa nangyaring kahihiyan sa Naia at pinagbibitiw na. Baka umano mamilagro pa ang ibang ebidensya tungkol dito. Salamat sa patuloy na pagsuporta sa channel natin mga ka-solid at mabuhay po kayong lahat, and God bless all.